random disclaimer. Hey.
About your period of your life where you went through a period of bisexuality, you contracted HIV. Tell me about that. How difficult a decision was it to tell everybody about this?
It was, man, wow.
Sheen, winning swag, 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 Sheen, winning.
What is up, Beauty Tribe? It is your girl Najee here, and I am back with another book review. It has been a minute, but I am back, and as you guys can see by this big leather jacket, we're going to be talking about the Charlie Sheen memoir, The Book of Sheen, okay?
Charlie Sheen has been making headlines for 40 years, from his hard-partying image and show business family to his high-profile relationships and record-breaking salary demands.
But there's some things you talk about you've never shared before publicly.
Correct, yeah.
Now the ultimate Hollywood bad boy is chronicling it all in a new memoir, The Book of Sheen.
I knew I wanted to get into this book because I was young during the winning era, okay?
Winning?
I'm talking, we had the bracelets, we had the t-shirt.
I am on. It's called Charlie Sheen.
Looking back, it is kind of sad how normalized this behavior was, and like kind of how desensitized we were as a society to Charlie Sheen's downward spiral, pretty much. He was just like everybody's favorite person to hate. I love 2.5 Men. My brother and I would watch that all the time growing up. I love the movies that he's in the 80s as well. When I saw that he was coming out with this book and the Netflix series, I was like, yeah, we gonna hop on it. It was a very easy read, so I advise you guys to go and get this yourself, okay? There were some things in the book that were not on the Netflix series, so all right, we're gonna get into this. I'm a little rusty. I haven't done this for a while, so make sure you guys get your water, your wine, whatever you need to wind down. If you're a sober girly, get you a Capri Sun. Go way back in the day, get you a Capri Sun, okay? And yeah, let's get into this.
Yeah, I'm Carlos. Yeah. Carlos Irwin.
Okay, so the first section of this video we're going to be calling Nepo Baby to Troubled Teens, okay? So right off the bat, if you did not know, Charlie Sheen is a Nepo baby. His father was a very famous actor, and he actually grew up on the set of some pretty well-known movies because his dad would bring him and his siblings to all of the movie sets that he was on. That heavily inspired him and his siblings to want to be involved in the film industry. He was on the set of Apocalypse Now, which is like the biggest film ever, total 80s moment. I did not know this, and I don't know, it's just, I guess he's just very white passing. I don't know, or maybe, I don't know, girl, but I did not know that Charlie Sheen was Spanish, okay? Did not know that. He speaks Spanish too. His dad is Spanish. His brother's name is Emilio. He has another brother named Ramon, like super Spanish. I'm over here thinking that this is just a white Irish man with like dark features. I'm not really putting two and two together.
That's Martin Sheen. Maybe people don't know all this. Your brother is Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, right.
Your dad's real name, your real name is Estevez.
Yeah, I'm Carlos. Yeah. Carlos Irwin.
So how come you decided to keep the Sheen name and the anglicized version of your name?
Well, I think there's a better balance with Charlie Sheen, the way it has a nicer ring to it. And as far as the Estevez name, I figured that with how Pop has established Sheen in this business, I should probably carry it on after his history. As far as the comparisons with the old man, that's like something I've grown up with and lived with and just dealt with. And if anybody compares me to him, it's a high compliment, I think.
Learning that was just really interesting, especially because he was born in the 60s and the whole interracial relationship thing was still very new. But in Hollywood, a lot of Hispanic, Latin, white passing actors would just, create a whole new genre and slide on in, right? And they could pass as just being white with dark features. So that's what his dad was doing. And he even mentioned how his grandfather was really hurt that he chose the last name Sheen, like doing like a whitewash name so that he can get more gigs. His parents had a pretty good relationship. They were Catholic, so they didn't believe in divorce. It's like they were together forever, and that's just how it was gonna be. He went on the set of Apocalypse Now. They had to fly to the Philippines to go film that movie, so he spent a good chunk of his childhood in the Philippines.
What was it like being with your dad while he was filming Apocalypse Now?
It was a lot of that in the book.
How old were you?
I went there as a 10-year-old.
Whoa.
Yeah, I had my 11th birthday there. Spent a combined total of 8 or 9 months there, and that was going back and forth. You know, it wasn't just another country; it was another planet. You know, we'd seen different parts of the world traveling with him. You know, Mexico, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, places like that. You know, but then you get to the Philippines, and it was just you just got a sense that wow, this is all going on at the same time that we've been in Malibu, like
right,
kind of having fun and just doing cool shit, and so you visit a place like that and get in the middle of it and engage in this entirely just a new, such a surreal reality, and then wait a minute, they're here to make a movie, and it's about a film that it's a film about a war that barely ended like a year ago, right?
Yeah,
14 months ago. When did Saigon fall? It was 75, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it was like right at the tail end of it. And so, yeah, it was. We were able to do enough stuff like recreationally. You know, there was a lake and you could water ski, you could fish, you could do those kind of things if you didn't want to go to the set with Dad. But once you went and saw the set where Dad was, you didn't give a fuck about water sports or fish.
You guys know that the balut egg that just started going viral recently again, like influencers, food influencers trying the balut. He tried that way back then. Like, that was his first taste of anything. He landed in the Philippines from the plane, and the taxi driver offered him a balut egg, and he ate it, and he was like super disgusted. But he ended up, because he was there for so long, he ended up actually liking it over a period of time. But I just thought that was interesting, because I'm like, people be tearing up them little balut eggs on TikTok. So yeah, he was in the Philippines with his mom and his brothers and other people on set. He met a lot of well-known people. When they moved back after filming Apocalypse Now, they moved to Malibu in California. He had his neighbors were other nepo babies that he super ate films with because they were all inspired by their Hollywood parents. So they're out making, like, the only thing I can compare it to is like Tarantino-esque films, right?
In the documentary, you're showing a lot of footage from your Super 8 films that you're making. And I recognize the jeans, recognize the shirts, the jackets. I also recognize this idea that there were no helicopter parents back then. You just did whatever you did all day long with your friends.
Sure.
My parents never knew what I was up to or what I was doing. Right. In my case, not much. Your case, a lot. But I was looking at those... looking at your Super 8 films, and I was thinking, yeah, I remember this part of my life. That resonates with me so powerfully. Wow. Killing time with your friends, only in your case, your friends are Sean Penn,
and his brother Chris,
your brother Emilio, your I mean, it's a who's who of very famous actors.
So the time frame is California, late 60s, early 70s, and there was the helter-skelter scare of people getting murdered in the hills. So his parents were just like very superstitious and just like very paranoid, I guess you could say, because people were getting killed, girl. It wasn't like if it's going on, like that was for sure going on. So he would have to wear a bulletproof vest to school. Like, some things really don't change. Like, kids were just never safe in this country going to school. So elementary school, he had to wear bulletproof vests and stuff to school because of that scare. Middle school-ish was when he was really into baseball. He kind of really like sped past his education in this area of his life. Like, you could tell that education really wasn't something that was important to Charlie, because he did not care about grades or any of that. The main highlight of him being in school was baseball, like playing baseball, being with his friends, making film, all of that stuff. So it kind of like fast forwards to high school. High school is when you start seeing the patterns beginning of certain bad choices being made that ends up being permanent throughout Charlie's life. And of course, nobody ever expects certain little irresponsible things they do as a teenager to stick with them, but so we're gonna fast forward to Charlie in high school.
I remember Charlie for his 16th birthday got a BMW car, and I was like, wow, he got a car for his birthday, and it was a brand new BMW, and that they always had Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Right. And I was like, wow, this is it, this is living. I just vividly remember, I don't remember the lead up, but I vividly remember with our little lunch sacks on the quad at Santa Monica High School, and Charlie, who was an early adopter of both bulletproof vests and Polo cologne, sitting there just sweating but smelling great. Right. And saying, dude, it's just so hot, I got this on today, and it was a bulletproof vest.
Did you think he was a whack job, or were you
you attracted to him in the sense that, like, wow, this is just the greatest kid ever?
Greatest kid ever. Without a doubt, the greatest kid ever.
So his sophomore year, him and his group of friends, the same group of nepo baby type friends, they would, and girl, this is crazy, okay? Like, this is like something that normal people don't do. And by normal people, I mean like non-nepo baby, non-affluent. Like, this is not a coming of age for the average person of what I'm about to say. Instead of like being like normal coming of age prepubescent boys, like, you know, maybe going on the internet or looking at a magazine or something like that, from being like curious or whatever, that's not a crime. Whatever, that's normal. What's not normal is getting your parents' American Express card and buying ladies of the night. Okay, it started off small, like they would just use their parents' American Express cards to buy certain material, right? Then it escalated to, well, like, we could actually pay for the service. And at 15 years old, a sophomore in high school, Charlie Sheen, for the first time, paid for that service. And I don't know who this lady was because you knew who he was. Like, him and his dad have the same freaking face. There's no way you didn't know who that man was, or his son. And his dad was working on all these movies, so his dad didn't notice that the American Express was getting swiped on ladies of the evening, okay? So he tried to be even more sneaky. So remember how I told you him and his friends would make movies together? They would use the same process of processing the Super 8 film, and they would make their own fake IDs. And that's how they were able to get into these parlors in Vegas. So they would leave LA and go to Vegas. Minors, these are 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, drive over there and be with the ladies of the evening. So they were doing this over and over and over and over again. And their thing was they just wouldn't tell anybody else about it. It's like they made like a pact so that nobody would get busted and they could like keep. This is crazy. And the first thing that I was thinking of was like how overstimulating this is for minors. Like, you're a minor, you don't really understand that this physical activity does have a mental side to it, right? Like, this isn't, I don't know, I'm not trying to be one of them grandmas that like to talk about soul ties and all that crap, but you're over here having your first experience with a lady of the evening. You've never even been with a girl that like is consenting in that type of way. Like, you know what I'm saying? If there was no money involved, this would not be going on. And while he was doing this, he started partaking in the devil's lettuce. He never wanted to do anything sober. Like, he doesn't really get into the book on like what happened to him or like what major event happened that made him want to just numb himself all the time. Like, he never gets into the nitty gritty of that. Like, maybe there isn't a nitty gritty. Maybe the answer is you're just young with too much freaking money and access and your parents are working. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. And then you have hella siblings. You got like 3 other siblings. Like, it's kind of easy to hide in between the cracks. So when he was a junior, so after a year of doing this little sneaking off to Vegas, swiping his dad's American Express and all that, the guy that he was buying the devil's lettuce from, they ended up getting really close because obviously you can constantly get what you want from him. And they would drive out, and that's when he started drinking. So he would drink beer, and they got so freaking wasted that they just parked the car on the side of the road and went to sleep. And a police officer politely woke them up and was like, yeah, absolutely not. Where are your parents? Oh, you don't want to play? Okay, you're going to jail. And he got arrested for the first time.
I got arrested in high school. I actually wrote it for the book and didn't include it. I got arrested for credit card forgery. And Dad was, again, he was out of town.
So he didn't even know.
Buddy of mine tells me that they're in the dumpster at the Beverly Hills Hotel. They throw away all the credit card receipts. So we went and found them and started calling stores and claiming to be that person and saying, my son will be there in a half an hour to pick up the merchandise. And then we'd walk in and it was a trip, man. It worked.
So that's when his family finally didn't have a choice but to acknowledge, like, okay, Charlie has a problem. At most, though, they just grounded him. But I feel like they should have went full nepo baby parent and just threw him into treatment right then and there. Like, honestly, they should have treated that a little bit bigger then it got treated. His grades are bad. He's out swiping your card. He's out getting plastered. Like, no consequences. So back to the whole grades thing. So he didn't even get his high school diploma because his grades were that freaking bad. Like, Charlie was one of them kids who the last day of school, he run into everybody's classroom trying to make sure that he could, you know, maybe get that D to a C or that F to a D. Like, he was one of those. And all the administration and teachers were just sick of him. They were like, no, we're not gonna help you. We've tried to help you so many times throughout your whole high school career. Like, no, we're not about to do this. So unfortunately, he did not get to walk the stage, but his crazy ass showed up to the graduation and just like was watching them walk. Like, I don't know. He was just pissed about it, but he did not get his high school diploma. He did not graduate high school.
30 years without a diploma.
Oh, so you didn't get to go?
No.
Oh, so you never got your diploma?
I didn't, no.
But I used to go to baseball camp in Springfield, Missouri, and I finally got scouted my final summer there to the University of Kansas, but I didn't have the grades. I didn't have any interest in school, and it wasn't like jail or baseball, so I just put on my cleats.
Around this time, he was dating a girl, and he got her pregnant. I did not know that Charlie Sheen had any children, let alone he was a teen parent. I did not know that. I found out a lot of things I did not know in this book. He was a teen parent. He had a daughter named Cassandra, and him and the mother did not stay together long at all. He admits in the book that he wasn't as involved as he was because he has more kids, and we're gonna get into that too. There's more women, there's more drama, like, but this one was pretty drama free on the guise of his BM knew that he was Charlie Sheen, son of actor, you know, nepo baby this. Like, she knew that she was gonna have to sacrifice that type of relationship. It just wasn't gonna work. And he was thotting and bopping with every lady of the evening. Like, what? No, that's not gonna work. That we need some type of loyalty factor here. And then we need some stability, like, because he couldn't even get his grades together. Like, it was just looking all bad. So that's how his whole childhood went. It was just chaotic from beginning to end.
This is my second year professionally, this month as a matter of fact. And it's going real well, I think.
Now we are getting into the bad boy era, all right? This is how Charlie Sheen officially gets stamped as the bad boy, the playboy, whatever you want to call him, right? So remember how I said he has other siblings? So his brother is Emilio Estevez. Remember how I said I did not know these people were Spanish? I knew about this boy. He was part of the 80s it crew, and at this point he was watching his older brother get these roles, and he was just playing, you know, wingman and being around them and just watching them turn into stars right before his eyes. He was like, you know what, I'm gonna apply myself, I'm gonna try to also act. And he actually scored his first role not even like 2 weeks after his high school graduation, right? So all in all, it was working out for him. He did a few other movies in the meantime, in between time. He got a lot of advice from his dad during this time as well. He ended up scoring his, in my opinion, his big break, which was Platoon. And they actually flew him out there and everything. Like, the same way how he was in the Philippines with his dad for Apocalypse Now, they flew him out to the Philippines for Platoon. And he says it's because the same people were working on the same movie, and he just, you know, nepo baby things. So he got cast to go out because they already knew he was familiar with the area of the set, right? And your dad was in Apocalypse Now. Like, come on, let's keep it a beat.
It's only one project that I hope will lead to many others. But it's been a growth period and a strengthening period for me. That, like you said, there is no mobile home with a tri-speed air conditioner to go back to and, you know, hang out, have some time to yourself. And essentially, it's helped the camaraderie within the men in this platoon not to be able to split off and go about their ways. We're always together. You know, we eat dinner together, we hang out together. Hopefully branch out. I'm establishing acting as the base, and then, you know, writing, directing is going to follow. I've got a few projects I'm working on myself, but definitely earn some respect, and I shouldn't say power, but some pull in this industry through the acting, and then earn the license to branch out.
You and your father get on pretty well together, don't you?
Yeah, he's about the greatest guy alive. He's really cool. And having been here during Apocalypse when I was 10 years old, I'm experiencing, I guess, what you could call flight.
Director Oliver Stone, who's a real nut for realism, put you through basic training.
For 2 of the longest weeks of my life, basically, yeah. It It was set up to where we had to like live in the ground, and we had to dig our own foxholes and live in the same clothes with no showers, no phone calls to agents, no letters to girlfriends. Couldn't talk to your mom. It was hell, but it was, you know, we didn't realize when we were going through it at the time how valuable that information was going to be until we got on film, because we didn't have to think about a lot of the stuff that we learned. It just became subconscious. You just reacted, you know.
And you shot this in the jungle in the Philippines?
In the Philippines, yeah.
Just after Marcos left.
Yeah, that was a very unsettling political time, and you know, I think Oliver got several phone calls from some of the actors' mothers who were very, you know, dubious about their kids going over.
So now we're gonna get into the mess. So Johnny Depp, the young, you know, the young fine Johnny Depp, not whatever the hell's going on now. Johnny Depp was on Platoon, and he said, Charlie said in the book, Charlie said that Johnny Depp got him addicted to cigarettes. And he said that Johnny would brag that at least one person on every set that he's ever been on, he has turned a non-smoker into a smoker. And Charlie kind of like prided himself for, you know, yeah, I did a little devil's lettuce here, you know, I may drink a beer or two, but I ain't never smoked no cig. And on that set, Johnny Depp got him addicted to cigarettes. Like, and he even said, he was like, yeah, Johnny, thanks for the cancer. Like, no, seriously, like, if I were to get lung cancer, I would blame Johnny Depp. Like, what are we doing? I don't know. That's crazy. And I get it. Johnny Depp was young at that time too. But like, to have the wherewithal and the knowledge to be like, yeah, I turn a non-smoker into a smoker every set. You're evil. Like, what? He was out there and doing Platoon for like a minute. I'm talking, he even like flew. He was talking to this girl. I told y'all he did not stay with his baby mama. Like, he just like went off on his life. Like, and that's just my opinion looking at it. It just looked like he dropped that baby and went off and was living his life, because he got a girlfriend already. The girlfriend's a little bit older than him, and she got a little bit of money, so she would fly out to the Philippines. He even said that Bill Clinton wanted to smash his girlfriend, because when they came back from shooting in the Philippines, and it was a long shoot, and he went to the White House for something, some type of event, and he brought his then girlfriend, and Bill Clinton was like, hey, give me the information on the brunette. Like, and the funny thing is, she does kind of like resemble Monica Lewinsky a little bit. So I don't know, I wouldn't call him a complete liar, you know. So during this time, he's getting like 6 figures back to back to back. Like, he has money now, he bought his first property, like, he's back in LA enjoying the fruits of his labor at this point. And that's when he starts getting in cahoots with a young Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage was a horrible influence on him, in my opinion. I'm sure Charlie would think that, oh no, we were all as bad. No.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage is a nepo baby as well. I didn't know this either, but he purposely changed his name to Cage so he would not get linked to his famous Coppola family heritage, okay? So nepo baby as well. And they called themselves the Jackson 5. It was him, Nicolas Cage, and like 3 other people, and they would all wear the Michael Jackson fedora and right around LA, messed up off of all types of cocktails of stuff, usually schmeikamelics, if y'all catch my drift, teriyaki mushrooms, okay, devil's lettuce, beer, all of that stuff, right? Just totally plastered. I want to say this is also the era when people started messing with booger sugar, okay? I want to say this is the era when that started happening too, because the decision making was just getting worse and worse. Him and Nicolas Cage would go out and also buy ladies of the evening. Charlie dumped the girl that Bill Clinton said was cute. He dumped her because when he realized like, oh, my movie's about to be big, I'm gonna want to be single. So here he go calling ladies of the evening again, paying their bills. Just a mess. And it's crazy because in my opinion, I feel like he wasn't even going that hard. But now that I'm like retelling it in front of the camera, like he was going hard. But while I was reading it, I'm not gonna hold you, there was a few times where I was like, y'all going a little too hard on him. Like, he's not even doing nothing crazy. Like the whole being 15, 16, going to Vegas to get ladies of the evening, that's crazy. But it's like, he was showing up to work. When it comes to him being an adult, he was showing up to work. He was doing all his scenes. His other co-stars were getting lit too, and they were going to work, doing their scenes, remembering their thing, right? And it wasn't a problem.
Yeah, I'm off the sauce, you know.
You gotta just drink crappios. That's all right though. Shake them up a little bit.
So we just wait for the last. Okay. Christy Swanson's room is like a sauna down there. It's really bad. She's kind of fading because it's a little warm down there. Okay. Okay. All right. But Charlie, when the firm came out, there was a lot of talk about the competition between BMW and Mercedes-Benz to who's going to supply the car that Tom Cruise was going to drive around in. Now, how much competition was there with this movie?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. We didn't exactly have them banging down our door, you know, because that film was, you know,
a little high profile. Yeah.
That's what it was versus what we did.
And another thing I forgot to mention that he puts in this book a lot is the stutter. He has a stutter. He says that there are certain words that he will not say. If they're in a script, he'll highlight it and get like a synonym for the word because like he refuses to say it. And it is a common thing that shows up throughout this book is randomly he'll just get a stutter and like he'll go inward and just feel very self-conscious. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was important to mention that because he believes that the alcohol helped his stutter. And I do think like stuttering is a form of anxiety. That's just my opinion. I'm not no doctor, okay? But I do think it's a form of anxiety. What is it? What is it that had you so on edge? You know, like you grew up rich, you have both parents, you got cool siblings. Your siblings didn't end up doing what you was doing. Like, what made you so anxious and so self-aware? And you get what I'm saying? But I digress.
We love celebrity memoirs on this channel, so I only thought it was right to give you guys Audible Premium Plus free for a month on me. Gain access to the Audible Plus catalog of podcasts, audiobooks, guided wellness, and Audible originals. Listen all you want, no credits needed. The free 30-day trial comes with 1 credit, good for any premium selection title you'd like, 2 credits for Prime members. A friendly reminder will be sent via email before your trial ends. After 30 days, $14.95 a month, but you can cancel anytime before that. The link for this deal will be in the description, and full disclosure, I will get a small monetary compensation for each sign up using my link specifically. Thank you so much to Audible for partnering with this channel. We love to read over here. Hopefully you guys can read with me on the next celebrity memoir video. If not, let me know what you use your credit for in the comments below. Now back to the video.
So I'm gonna go back to the Nicolas Cage era where he's wilding. On his father's birthday, his family let him know like, hey, we're gonna do something for your dad's birthday. You need to show up. And when he showed up for his dad's birthday, it was an intervention. And his dad basically was like, all I want for my birthday is for you to be sober. And I'm not gonna hold you. I was just like, all he doing is a little schmucky, a little drinky. Okay, the Book of Sheen is crazy. But you know what? Yeah, you tripping. You got these Spanish and Irish. I think his mom's Irish. You got these Catholic people scared for you, okay? You need to go and get right. Yeah, he agreed to the intervention and he got escorted to the treatment center that day, right? That night, he was like, oh man, I was supposed to hang out with Nicolas Cage and the Jackson 5. We were supposed to go out and be crazy. And they all had nicknames for each other in this group too. Like, his name was the Machine, like, so cringe, but honestly embrace the cringe because I could see if you were to take all the substances out of it and just looked at it for what it was, just friends dressing up, hitting the town, like, yeah, it's cute, it's a vibe. But being on all these substances and like barely being able to walk, like, that's not a vibe. Not being able to remember it, not a vibe. So he was like, you know what, I'm gonna sneak out. So he snuck out of the rehab. He bribed the nurse and was like, if I don't come back by tomorrow morning, I'll give you $1 million. And of course this nurse is like, okay, Sting, go ahead. I'll give you $1 million. It's like, girl, these rich people around here just be handing money out. So for one last time, he got in the car with Nicolas Cage and they went up, got some ladies of the evening, got some booger sugar. And they said that they talked to the ladies of the evening for like 6 hours. They just talked their head off. They didn't even like do anything nasty. And then he dropped him back off at the treatment center. Like, I don't know. I feel like if the family wouldn't have done that, they should have did that intervention a long time ago. They should have did the intervention when he got arrested for the first time, because now you have a grown man that's making grown man money that is, it was just too late. So he stayed in that treatment facility for 6 days. And then he like broke out. Like, so the treatment center he was at, like they would have just logged it as like an AMA. Like he could have just told them like, hey, yeah, I'm checking myself out. I don't want to do this anymore. But instead he treated it like jail. Like he like jumped out of the courtyard, started running. One of the techs was running after him like, hey, we need to sign you out. You can't just, but he's over here like, no, I gotta get out of here. His security guard pulls up, he hops in the car, and he's like, drive. Just the drama, just the unnecessary drama. Lasted in rehab for a week. And then he was back on the town, and this is really when the roller coaster ride of Charlie Sheen is kind of like solidified as to who we know him as today. This is when it starts to get bad, okay?
Good thing Charlie Sheen earns a record $2 million per episode.
This portion is called Bad Boy Turned Certified Train Wreck, okay? With youth comes ignorance, and with age comes wisdom. So if you're younger, you get a little bit more grace for making certain decisions or mistakes. The older you get, the less grace you tend to get, because it's like, come on, babes, you're not catching on by now. Like, really? I think the saying goes, it was cute when you were 21, but now you just look 30 something and bitter, right? Like, and that's kind of the tale of Charlie Sheen, of what ended up happening to him. Charlie actually got married for the first time during this era. Honestly, I'm not really sure why either of them went ahead with this, because it seemed like they both were really unsure about the marriage. Maybe it's just because of that's what Charlie thought he needed to do, because his brother Emilio was dating these very high profile people. Like his daughter's aunt was freaking Paula Abdul. So like maybe he just felt he had to measure up, because he also wanted to have the wedding on his birthday so that he would never forget the anniversary and be like a doting husband. And I'm like, dude, this is bad. Like, you're already getting ready to forget your anniversary is wild. But this did not last long, and even through this relationship, he still had his habits, you know. For starters, his lady of the evening habits were catching up to him. He was going down a road, a similar road a lot of young men are going through right now, and it's just only gotten worse with technology, is the corn obsession. Charlie was obsessed. You know those silicone real dolls that are like $10,000, and they're like weighted and soft, and they have like real human hair, and people be collecting them. He had 2 of them. He has 2 of them. Like them My Strange Addiction type. Yes, though, he has 2 of those. He goes to Hugh Hefner's mansion from time to time just to pick out girls that he sees on magazine covers. It's giving creepy. Like, it is very creepy. Like, you are paying for companionship. Like, why don't you just go outside? And basically, it's not giving Playboy. To me, it's not giving Playboy, because I feel like a real Playboy, you can go out, use your charisma, and like get a woman, but you literally can only pay. You just tricking. You just always tricking 25-8, and then you buy material. And then you get so fixated on that material, you have to find the girl in the material. He gets so fixated on this material that sometimes he finds girls that have only done like 1 scene in their freaking life. And this dude is just like obsessed with that 1 scene. And now, you know, you might be a vet in Utah, right? But here comes Charlie freaking Sheen in your DMs like, hey, I really like that scene. Like, what? At this time, he's also like talking to everyday girls. So he was talking to a nurse. This nurse was giving him like painkiller type stuff. Just crazy. It's just, it always comes with something, basically. It's just very conditional with him when it comes to women, and instant gratification. Like when it comes to the material, the corn, right? Instant gratification. Mind out of body experiences, because you constantly got to be on something, right? So the ladies of the evening caught up to him because the very famous LA madam, Miss Heidi, ended up getting cased up for her federal crimes, because basically the government doesn't mind when you are a madam or if you tricking or whatever, but when it comes tax season, you better come correct. You cannot leave out a nickel or a dime, because they're gonna come and get it. And that's basically what happened.
Well, Heidi Slice is fighting back as she prepares for a possible jail term. The so-called Hollywood madam is blasting the justice system.
The Afro cool talk and this bravado about the whole thing and make jokes about it, but
It's on my mind all the time. What's on Heidi's mind is the possibility of spending up to 8 years in jail. In August, she was convicted on federal tax evasion charges stemming from her prostitution ring. Now, out on bail, the 29-year-old model and owner of 2 clothing stores in Southern California finds herself getting angrier as she awaits her sentencing.
Even people who don't like me think that the priorities are in the wrong place. The whole thing was wrong. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money.
The woman who provided high-class call girls to such high-profile clients as Charlie Sheen still fiercely maintains that prostitution is a victimless crime.
It's consensual sex, and who really cares? I mean, to put someone in jail for 3 to 8 years for something as absurd and ridiculous as this is the wrong kind of punishment.
They hit up Charlie to be a character witness, and my boy started squealing on the stand. He was snitching up a storm because he used to write Heidi checks. Like, he was getting high-class girlies from Heidi, keeping her all the way in business, okay? And he ended up telling on her because he was scared he was gonna get 5 years in jail or something like that. When in reality, he probably wouldn't have got any time by just not saying anything, because apparently they didn't even really have evidence on her like that. It was just a tax issue. They were trying to make it seem like it was like a human trafficking thing. Nah. Then he said he got into a relationship with a lady he calls Jane in the book. And he said that he and Jane got into an argument because Jane saw a picture of his daughter in the house. And he doesn't really go into detail on what the argument was about, other than it was centered around his daughter. And which I think is crazy. I'm advocating for Charlie's kids in this book because, not to jump ahead, he doesn't really give Dad of the Year in this book. And I'm sure that a lot of people had to give him a lot of forgiveness to even want to be around him today, because reading that book, he didn't really take giving life into this world that seriously, you know? Like, he just viewed it as like, oh, well, that's something that happens along the way, like that's just something that some women want. He doesn't really view it as like, oh, I created a life, you know? Maybe that's changed now that he's a grandparent, but this book just gives the vibe of like, yeah, shit happens. Sometimes you have some kids. Whoop-de-doo, right? Like, whoop-de-doo. Their argument was over, it was a picture of his daughter in the house, and they had an argument over the picture. He doesn't specify how, but one thing went to another, and he said he pushed her. She called the police, and he got charged for domestic violence charges, right? And it was all over the tabloids. You guys remember the Britney Spears era? Like, those tabloids used to be ruthless in the early 2000s. So according to him in the book, that even though they had an order of protection for each other, they weren't allowed to be around each other, they weren't allowed to contact each other. She would pull up to his house and allegedly ask him for some D, like randomly, like on some like, if you don't come in this limo, I'm gonna call your probation officer right now, and I'm gonna tell him that you threatened me. He was like, maybe she felt like she wanted to have like a power and control, but I didn't matter. I let her control me. And I'm like, man, no ma'am. And if anything, that instance should have made you be like, you know what? No, I'm choosing my daughter over you, because I'm not about to talk to you ever again. I'm about to go and be a dad. But no, that never popped up.
And honestly, looking at Charlie's track record over the years, just because obviously we're in the future, we're not in the 90s anymore, we see his patterns. I don't believe that it was like a little push here, push there, and she fell and somehow her lip bust. Like, I'm not buying that, especially because of the booger sugar, alcohol, all that stuff, right? However, I could see a victim trying to reclaim their control by doing what he explained. Because I'm not gonna hold you, the first time I read it, I was like, bruh, ain't nobody do that. Nobody did that, Charlie, shut up. But now that I'm thinking about it, I could see that happening as somebody trying to regain control after a traumatic incident. I don't know. This was an ugly one, because he really did try to downplay this like she was like crazy in the book.
Then he started talking to another person. He starts talking to Denise Richards, because they were doing a TV show together.
How's married life?
Really great. Best decision I ever made.
Well, I'm glad. You deserve all the happiness in the world, and you've obviously found a guy who can give it to you.
Oh, thanks. That's very sweet.
Well, I mean it sincerely. It warms my heart to see two people.
Okay, we broke up.
I'm so sorry. Honestly.
And they ended up having not one, but 2 kids, okay? They ended up getting married. And these are the first kids that Charlie actually, like, raised, like, woke up in the middle of the night, made a bottle, like, type of deal. He didn't do that with his first daughter because he wanted to be an actor. So you and your actor wife are both doing this, and Denise is hardcore. She's like, I want to do 50-50 down the middle. You wake up in the middle of the night, I wake up in the middle of the night. and he was getting ran ragged. Like, he was actually seeing what parenting was for real, and it was overwhelming to him. They were not getting along that well. He said out of respect for her, he isn't gonna say why they broke up, but word on the curb is, this alleged, Denise said that she wasn't attracted to him after finding out that he is attracted to men. And she caught some of those material of men, and specifically like twinks. Like, she was saying they look younger, and like, yeah, like she just said it was disturbing to her, and she wasn't into that freaky shit. But he was on like the little pain pills, he was smoking a little ganj, he was drinking still. And at this point, he wasn't doing the booger sugar as much, right? But he was still partaking in certain vices. The material use was a big one. Then he caught himself trying to like flirt with a girl in their building, and the girl happened to be friends with his wife's like best friend, and she sent the receipts, and he got caught up trying to cheat, like, and then they still had another baby after that. So it was just like a messy relationship. But he left her like very shortly after having the babies. That's why I'm like, damn, bro, like you just making broken home after broken home after broken home. Because then we have a round 3 of another person. I think her name is Brooke.
What do you guys think about Hollywood coming to Sin City?
Well, that's kind of redundant.
No, get it? Hollywood, Sin City. How did you get?
I gotta keep the jokes basic tonight.
I know.
That's
Sorry, I'm just like all over the place trying to get everyone to talk.
No, it's great. I think it's a great home for this establishment, and I think it only makes perfect sense that they would wind up here eventually, and we're thrilled to celebrate the big grand opening. You know.
Now, are you guys big gamblers?
Not really. I mean, we're sort of nickel and dimers, you know.
I gamble more than he does.
Yeah, if you know, we feel like this will sound stupid, but we kind of win every day, you know, so why press our luck?
And they have twins. They have twin boys. Like, this is happening back to back to back to back. During this time, Charlie is over here proposing to people left and right, and he is having a feeling that it's just not gonna work. But then he does it anyway, like constantly going to Hawaii for the honeymoons too. Like, I thought that was kind of corny that you take your girls to the same honeymoon spot every time. Kind of corny. So with this other girl, with the Brooke girl, she's more accepting of him and who he is.
This could be because they have a lot of the same habits, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit later in the things Charlie forgot to mention in the book, right? But I think she was just so cool with this behavior because she also exhibited some of this behavior.
I feel this way, and he said this in the book too. I feel like Brooke really just wanted to be a mother, period. Like, she didn't really care who the baby daddy was. Like, she just wanted to be a mother.
Like, you know how some women just think that this is just part of life for you? Like, okay, I know that at some point in my life I have to have kids. It's that type of she just wanted to be a mom, not so much like she had this mothering urge, you know? It's just like, oh, I really need to check this off the checklist. And again, we're going to get into all the details later because apparently Denise, baby mama number 2, had to have custody of Charlie and Brooke's kids. So like, yeah, there's tons of tea. Just hang on, okay? There's tons more tea.
She didn't really want to be with Charlie after a while because he really wasn't adapting well. But it's like, girl, no shade, you're baby mama number 3. You really thought that you should have got with the program. Like, you get what I mean? You're baby mama number 3. Look around. How is he treating the other kids and the other BMs? Not very great. Where's the first baby?
Just days after being hospitalized following a bizarre incident at New York's Plaza Hotel. Bizarre is one word for it. The actor also filed for divorce Monday from his 3rd wife, Brooke Muller. In August, Sheen pleaded guilty to domestic abuse charges from an incident last Christmas. Mike Von Friend has more.
It's a good thing Charlie Sheen earns a record $2 million per episode, which pays his 33-year-old wife, Brooke Muller, a lump sum of approximately $1 million and $55,000 a month to support their twin boys. He is still paying his first wife, Denise Richards, who also had 2 children with Sheen. On Christmas Day, wife Brooke Muller called 911 to say Sheen was threatening her with much more than words.
Tell me exactly what happened. You know, my husband had me with a knife, and I'm scared for my life, and he threatened me.
7 days ago, Sheen trashed this luxury New York hotel room, seen here in these photos obtained by TMZ. And he was photographed with adult film star Capri Anderson. Any hope of saving the marriage was shattered.
So now that he is divorced from BM number 3, he is about to hit rock bottom. His rock bottom being broadcasted to millions and millions of people.
We're saying that you're bipolar.
I'm bi winning.
I know I'm about to sound so ignorant, but I did not know that white people did crack, girl. Like, I didn't know that white people did crack, girl. I did not. I thought that it was more like a Methiana thing, you know? I didn't know they did that. So after Charlie left wife number 3, he got hit up by a girl that he used to mess with back in the day, and she needed help out of a bind financially. He pulled up to the trap house girl, and she paid off the dealer. I think it was like 2 bands. So he takes the girl back to his house. They about to smash or whatever, and this broad pulls out a whole pipe, girl, a whole glass piece, okay, and basically tells him to do it, and he don't even think twice. He just do it. He's said this in the book verbatim. This man said that he is aware that when people ask you what the best moment of your life is, you're supposed to say the birth of your children, right? And he says, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, the best day of my life was that night in that bed with that glass pipe. God, I don't want anything of what you're doing over here. Like, what do you mean? Like, do you not know, like, your kids are gonna read this book? Like, why would you even say that? You know, we could lie. You know, lying is an option. Like, you don't need to do that. What? So yeah, ever since then, now he over here doing the crack rock dance. And I forgot to mention, before he started doing crack, okay, he did overdose. So let me rewind a little bit. He did overdose on the booger sugar because he injected himself with the booger sugar, and it went all over the tabloids. His security guard had to go and help him. They thought that he was like dead. Like, they thought he was going to be dead on arrival. It was that bad. So that experience happened to him. Immediately at the hospital, he wanted to leave and get a drink of alcohol. When they resuscitated him, his dad was there, and his dad just looked so disappointed that he would still want to go and kill himself. And that's what one of his therapists even asked him. They're like, why do you want to kill yourself? Like, how I'm still confused. Like, what was it that triggered you to make you feel so afraid of living that you just want to numb yourself? Like, what happened?
After doing this video and watching interviews and the Netflix and the book, you know, I think I can make like a assumption of what's going on. I really just feel like he had too many resources, too much access, too much unlimited resources at a young age. I consider it a miracle when Nepo babies don't go down the path of Charlie Sheen, because it's similar to giving a kid a loaded gun. Like, you could have you could have a 2-parent household, no fights, siblings all get along, you have the nice car, you go to the nice school, you get a job immediately into the field that you wanted to be in without a college degree. And then later on in life, you end up getting that degree. Like, everything is just going so great, but then you have like this big, ugly addiction. And I really do feel like when you're a kid, and I said this earlier in the video, you don't know that, oh, me trying this substance is going to affect the rest of my life. You just think that you're experimenting like everybody else. So imagine that times 100,000, because you have unlimited money, unlimited access. Like, so yeah, with Charlie Sheen, I don't think anything really happened per se, as much as it is like, how could something not with these circumstances?
So yeah, he had that instance, and then he had the instance with the pipe, the glass pipe, the crack rock in my Frank Ocean voice. So now Charlie Sheen is just a full-blown crackhead, okay? Now he is the LA crackhead. He's getting driven around LA, being a whole crackhead, just doing crackhead things. You got Charlie Sheen sightings like the freaking Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot.
By trolls. Keep that in mind. Phones were built by trolls. Okay, that gives us like 6,000 hours. Okay, great. Well, as it should be, duh. People need to hear my gold as it rolls out, not as it's like disappearing like so many freaking, magician's rabbits. We are in the middle of a movement here. An odyssey of epic proportions. Epic proportions. Well, hello, duh. I had more than fun. I had me with it.
So now he is getting sent to the another treatment facility that's part of his probation because he's out here being a crackhead, you know, and crackhead things like stealing, violence, all of that. So he got sent to another rehab probation where the stipulations are like, if you mess up, you got 3 strikes in Cali, like you can't keep messing up. In this rehab, he has his security guard from the outside bring him some rocks into the facility, and him and another rehab buddy smoke it up like at the facility. It spread around and they're like, okay, somebody in here has, you know, some paraphernalia. It got back that it was him. And that's when, again, the doctor was like, Charlie, why do you want to kill yourself? Like, we're not going to kick you out. We're not going to kick you out, but you need to give us the rest of it so nobody else kills themselves by accident. He gave them the stuff. And they're like, yeah, we're going to let you stay here, but you need to really reevaluate, like, why do you not want to be here? So he completed his stay at this rehab, and then when he got home, he still wasn't being completely sober because he was on pain pills still. So he would still drink a little bit here and there. He had tried to quit drinking multiple times throughout his life, but he did not view the pain medication as drugs because you can get it from the doctor. The same way he didn't really view alcohol as a drug because you can get it from the store with the police officer in the parking lot, like, and they wouldn't bat an eye at you. He literally said that in the book. He was working on a movie at the time, and it was so bad that the director personally went to his home and said, hey buddy, you need to check yourself back in. We know you're trying and everything, but you're still on pills, like you're still a little loopy. And he's like, no, my house is a sober living home at this point. Like, I'm doing good. I'm gonna be good. I can do it all on my own, right? So, shocker, he couldn't. He couldn't do it on his own. He was still using and dwelling on the fact that he was divorced and alone. He did say in the book, the one where he was like, I'm bi winning. And I really feel like that's the interview that got 2.5 Men got him like canceled off of the show.
It's like winning. I don't know, man. I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them because that's how I roll. I have 1 speed, I have 1 gear. Go. Because I'm me, I'm different. I just have a different constitution, I have a different brain, I have a different heart, I have different, you know, I got tiger blood, man. I'm too smart to blink, and I cured my brain. That's epic. The run I was on made Sinatra, Flynn, Jagger, Richards, all of them just look like, you know, droopy-eyed, armless children. I exposed people to magic. I exposed them to something they're never otherwise going to see in their boring, normal lives, and I gave that to them. I may forget about them tomorrow, but they'll live with that memory for the rest of their lives, and that's a gift.
Are you clean right now?
Look at me. Duh. Drug tests don't lie. I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen.
When was the last time you did drugs?
Don't remember. Don't care.
Are you willing to take a drug test?
Sure, you got a cut.
Yeah, the word negative is like printed like 18 trillion times.
That's how I roll. I have 1 speed, I have 1 gear. Go.
You don't worry that you're going to die when you take that many drugs?
Dying's for fools.
Did you turn to alcohol and other substances because you were bored?
No, I did that because they work. But it's I cured it with my brain, with my mind. I'm cured. I'm done. I blinked and I cured my brain. That's how. Everybody has the power. Cant is the cancer of happen. Cant is the cancer of happen.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm here and I'm ready. They're not. Bring it.
It was written for normal people. People that aren't special. People that don't have tiger blood, you know, Adonis DNA.
But you love to party.
I mean, what's not to love?
How do you avoid that?
Fools. Trolls. Weak. Defeated. They allowed defeat to be an option. I will not. Defeat is not an option. And defeat is not an option.
How do
Especially
you...
when you see how I party, man. It was epic.
You partying at all hours of the night, taking drugs, abusing alcohol. It's their show.
Epic. Epic behavior.
The shape I was showing up in was epic, was beyond comprehension.
There's sort of something epic about that it got so gnarly that Stan just went, I'm out.
Embarrassed that your children will read about this one day?
God, no. It's talking about an education. And then like this, and then that's the guy, and he's our dad, and we can get all the answers and the truth. Wow, winning.
He says that he was acting like that because he was using steroid cream lotion. And that the steroid cream had him geeking as if he was on crack. And I'm sorry, in my opinion, that was not no steroid cream. Like, you was on crack. Like, it was giving drug-induced paranoia.
He even flew back from the Bahamas, where he was vacationing, to take this test earlier than expected. He was so confident that he would pass. And George, not even Charlie Sheen knows the results of this drug test.
We were just showing the blood. We were just showing the blood being drawn.
The blood test tested for a grid of 10 drugs, the urine a grid of 9. And the good news for Charlie Sheen, as he's watching this at home, I can tell you that right now, is that he tested negative for every single one of those tests.
So negative, no drugs in his system at all, according to this urine and blood test. And that means, you know, we checked with some experts as well. That means he is likely clean for at least a few days. This is good for, what, the urine test for 2 or 3 days, maybe the blood test just a little bit longer?
No, in fact, the blood test only goes for a window of around about 24 hours, but it's a more complex test and looks deeper into the system. The urine, on the other hand, tests for some 72 hours.
I don't know what steroid cream does that? Like, no. Now he was starting to get physically sick, and he didn't understand why he felt so bad physically and his health was deteriorating. He had just assumed it was the alcohol, you know, catching up to him. He went to the doctor and they told him that he was HIV positive, like the sexually transmitted disease, because this man is just smashing everybody.
A very personal announcement that he's HIV positive. He decided to speak out now in part because he says he didn't want to live in fear that someone else would divulge it.
More than I thought possible.
Feel good about it?
Very much so.
Doctor, how long have you been working with Charlie?
I've known Charlie probably 5-6 years.
This is an educational moment. We are in 2015, and while no one wants a diagnosis of being HIV positive, people live long, normal, productive lives while they carry the virus. What is his exact medical condition now? And we should mention, Charlie has given you permission to talk about this.
Charlie has contracted the HIV virus. He was immediately put on treatment, strong antiviral drugs, which have suppressed the virus. Unfortunately, we don't have a cure yet. It's suppressed the virus to the point that he is absolutely healthy from that vantage. And my biggest concern with Charlie as a patient is substance abuse and depression from the disease more than what the HIV virus could do in terms of shortening his life, because it's not going.
And lo and behold, that allegedly from earlier, what Miss Denise said, may not have been false, because now Charlie is saying that he is bisexual or he's queer or he's, you know, pan, whatever. He's fluid, right? And that he has been with other genders. He calls it the other side of the menu. That's what he called it in the book. The other side of the menu, the flip side of the menu. Yeah.
Your period of your life where you went through a period of bisexuality, you contracted HIV. Tell me about that. How difficult a decision was it to tell everybody about?
What I knew, like what I'd owned for a long time as an experience was what it felt like to always keep that stuff hidden, to always walk around knowing there's videos out there that I paid to make go away, knowing there's people out there that I paid to, you know, zip it. In all of the prep work with Andrew Renzi, the director, who's a freaking genius, by the way, and a lovely man, he said, look, man, you know, we got to get into some of this other stuff, because in the deep dive that he took in his research, he says there's a lot of rumors out there, dude, about you and men, you know, and I said, okay, all right, cool, and it's such a relief. Yeah, it's such a relief, you know, and I don't have a shred of regret. The other thing, Paris, is if you're gonna put something in a documentary and in a book, you better damn well be prepared to discuss it in moments like this, or in the street, or at the drugstore, or you know what I'm saying. So and it takes the pressure off of other people. And just one more thing about that: people look at that story and they know that the kind of the you know, reputationally what a drug like crack cocaine can do to your brain sexually. So if people read this whole thing, even the crazy story in the book Escape from LA, right? And if something like that wasn't in there, don't you think the would have been a part of you know what I'm saying? People's feelings about the book. Yeah. So it would be glaringly absent if it wasn't included. And I'm sorry, I'm going on about this. And I hope it opens a door, or maybe you know, spurs something in someone else sitting behind, you know, similar secrets and feelings and trapped in it. I hope that someone else, I'm not even talking about somebody famous, just someone else out in the world, like, you know, sits down with their parents at dinner and says, hey, so Sheen, we all saw the thing with Sheen. Well, now, you know, we have that in common. So who knows?
It's just the fact that he was so devious and he was trying different things, like, you know, just very experimental his whole life, just being very careless with his own body. I just wasn't surprised that that happened to him. And he said he was in a really dark place when he found out that information. It took him a while to accept that that is his new normal, but at least there's medicine and, like, you know, there's groups and things that you could do to make your quality of life better that were not available. Also around this time, his shows got canceled. 2.5 Men, he just was doing too much. Bro was getting tore up off these pain pills and drinking, and he just was not getting better. He did a few cameos explaining his HIV status and being an advocate for HIV victims. And I think he broke the social media record of, like, the most Googled. I think when he did his interview talking about the HIV status that everybody was Googling HIV that day, and Charlie Sheen, and like he broke the record for that. I don't know about you guys, but that's the last time I saw Charlie Sheen doing anything. I think he was in like a spin-off, like maybe like a Scary Movie 2 or Scary Movie 3, Scary Movie 4. I'm not gonna hold y'all, this is probably like one of my favorite scary movies too. I completely forgot that Charlie Sheen was the lead dude in this movie. Like this was like when the Scary Movie franchise stopped being funny. We didn't hear from Charlie, or I didn't hear from Charlie after that. Like that's kind of just where it lay dormant. Just him coming out and saying that he had HIV, and then a handful of other women coming out and saying that he did not let them know about his status, because he knew for about like 4 years before he came out publicly and said that he had HIV.
Now, here in California, a person can be charged with a felony if they knowingly infect someone with it.
Charlie Sheen may have hid his HIV diagnosis from the public for 4 years, but the actor claimed in his interview with the Today Show this morning that he was always upfront with his sexual partners.
Have you, since the time of your diagnosis, told every one of your sexual partners before you had a sexual encounter that you were HIV positive?
Yes, I have.
No exception.
No exception.
Which a lot of the women felt like he withheld it from them. So I don't know, but that was the last that we heard of him, right? So the book closes off with Charlie admitting that, you know, he did need help and that now he is sober, and it took a while for him to get sober, and he explained like what his final straw was. His other daughter, Sam, I think it was Sam, not Clarissa, he noticed when he was picking her up from school one day, had the driver pick her up from school because he was too drunk, and he's in the front seat, and you could just tell like she wanted just a one-on-one with her dad in the car. Like she didn't want to have a driver because her dad was so hammered, like, and that was his wake-up call. And you know, everybody's wake-up call is different. It holds different significance for everybody, right? But that's what he says his was. He put a lot of pictures in the book of him and his kids. Boys were not in the book, but the girls were, and his oldest actually let him be involved in her wedding and be around her children. So that's why I said I feel like there was a lot of forgiveness that had to be done for the mental health of the kids, right? The kids are now adults, and it's like now I have to make that decision because Charlie ain't gonna change. It sucks to say, but he's not going to change. Like I'm glad that for his health, because he's a grandfather now, that he has slowed down and he's not doing all that abuse to his body anymore. But it's like the damage has been done from you not being around and like not being a present dad. Like the same thing I say about Nick Cannon. There's no way you can be dad of the year for 3 broken families. Like you can't tuck in 3 kids at 3 different homes. That's not how that works. Where the hell is Charlie Sheen now? What is Charlie Sheen up to now? Charlie Sheen is, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't seen him in any movies. I don't think he's working right now. I will wholeheartedly say that this book was written on time. Like he waited until has been done for some time. Like I will say it hasn't been 10 years since he's been sober, but he's been sober for over 5 or 6 years. Like he's put in his work. Yeah, I can wholeheartedly say that he lived his life before he decided to come and make a damn memoir, because there are a few times where he could have just put pen to paper and did it. There were a few things that he did not touch on in the book. Charlie has been in tons of lawsuits over the years.
Legal trouble he did talk about was the assault case with the person he names Jane in the book. Me personally, after hearing all of this, reading the book, watching the documentary, all of that, I do think that Charlie was putting his hands on people. I feel like he was out of his mind off of that stuff, and he was putting his hands on people, and I feel like it's a icky subject that he doesn't want to touch on. But honestly, I personally would have liked to see him go in on that, like how he said, oh well, yeah, people would think it's weird if I talked about doing Frank Ocean crack rock, and I don't bring up the fact that I was getting down with the other side of the menu. It feels a little disingenuous to me that you wouldn't go in depth and say, hey, because of this, the side effect of doing the Frank Ocean crack rock is that I was violent with people. I was putting my hands on people.
I just was not living right. But instead, he kind of just like brushes it under the rug. But he does not mention the other lawsuits by previous partners. False imprisonment, did not feel the need to tell her his status. Another partner 2 years later sued him for knowingly giving her or knowingly being intimate with her and not disclosing his status. And he actually settled with her. So maybe he just could not talk about it in the book. They were actually going to get married. Like, this is his ex-fiance. She was going to be wife number 4. Okay. But yeah, the other one, there's a video here. I'll play it for you guys. She was like heavy in the media with trying to hold him accountable for this.
Former girlfriend Brie Olson told Inside Edition that she didn't find out that Sheen had HIV until a few days ago.
And he put my life in jeopardy, along with hundreds or potentially thousands of other women's lives.
He doesn't talk about her like at all in the book. You know what? Since we're bringing up Brie, her name is Brie Olson, and the fact that he just didn't mention her at all. So Charlie, around train wreck, rock bottom era, when he was all alone and he was divorced, he was single Charlie Sheen, right? He was dating 2 girls at once, dating people like 30 years his junior. And they are both corn stars. Their names were Brie Olson and Natalie, okay? And the meme was he would call them his goddesses, right? Just weird.
They were the women who were by his side throughout our interview.
It's the Nat and the Rach.
So that's your team
Not
right
circle,
now.
it's a wedge. Boom. You form a wedge to make room for the guy carrying the ball.
Natalie Henley, a former nanny and model, and Rachel Oberlin, a porn star.
Is this like a family for you?
Absolutely.
The 2 of you?
Absolutely. Yeah, we all love and care about each other. So we all have our own connections with one another. Natty and Charlie have their own special connection. I have my own connection with Charlie, and then Natty and I also have our own relationship.
And it works well for us. I mean, it's unconventional and it seems crazy to everybody else, but for us, I mean, it works well. And we all love and respect each other and respect each other's boundaries.
How did you meet Charlie?
I met Charlie through a friend. It was just a random chance meeting. Fell in love with him the second I met him. We bonded over music and stayed up talking for hours and fell in love with his brain.
Look at these 2. Wow. Who's got it better than me?
What do you love about these 2?
Listen to the law. Everything, every cell, every memory, every feature, and all of it.
You're like the new Hugh Hefner here with you.
He's an amateur.
I called them.
He started.
And they would just go on ragers. They would just go on ragers together. And yeah, it was just a really uncomfortable watch. I'm not going to hold you. At the end of it all, she did end up coming out and saying like, yeah, I was really distraught when I found out that we were engaging in certain activities and he never told me his status. And, you know, from what I've seen, she didn't win her lawsuit the same way how his ex-fiance won her lawsuit. And it's probably because of the nature of the relationship. And I'm sure the eyes of the court were like, you're in like this poly 3-way drug-induced thing versus like an actual matrimony in the works, you know? That woman, the ex-wife, was also getting like physically abused. So it was just a little bit way more multifaceted, I guess, on that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Again, my ICDC law school degree only gets me so far. But yeah, he did not mention this era with these goddesses at all in the book. And I do remember that being like this taboo thing on TV at the time when I was younger. Like, I didn't really fully understand, but I was just like, oh, he has 2 girlfriends. That's weird. Like, I was more so weirded out how old he was compared to them, you know, even back then. But yeah, there was that. He also doesn't talk about the wrongful termination suit he did against Warner Brothers for kicking him off 2.5 Men. He doesn't even really talk about 2.5 Men that much, which made me a little sad because I wanted to know his experience on set. But child, I wouldn't be surprised if he don't even remember what was going on set, okay? The only legal trouble he really brings up is Heidi and then the domestic violence thing. But he also was accused by other actors for essaying them on set, I saw.
Multiple sources stepped forward to confirm that the HIV-infected actor child star Corey Haim on the set of Lucas in 1986. According to the story, Sheen, then 19, convinced Corey, then 13, to have sex during the production of the film. And after they did, Charlie became very cold and rejected him. In fact, when Corey wanted to fool around again, Charlie was not interested. The story also mirrors the shocking tale by Haim's friend Corey Feldman, who wrote in his tell-all memoir that at some point during the filming of Lucas, an adult male convinced Haim it was perfectly normal for older and younger boys in the business to have sex. So they walked off to a secluded area between 2 trailers during a lunch break. But Feldman never named Sheen in his this book. However, a former child actor close to Haim backs those claims and adds that Haim and the Wall Street star actually had sex again, this time when Corey was in his 20s. But he didn't like it, and he was finally over Sheen.
I feel like Charlie should have included this in the book in a way of saying like, hey, this isn't true. I feel for Corey. I did work with him. I do believe that stuff has happened to him, you know. But instead, Charlie comes off like really angry. Like really like, oh my God, leave me alone with that shit. Like he's gone off in the documentary and on interviews like.
It's a piece of vile fiction. The guy's mom came out and said this is impossible. So yeah, no, that one just, ugh. Everybody's gonna like pause the doc and go find the story and go for it.
He went into great detail. He told me, Charlie, bent me over in between two trailers and put crystal oil on my butt in broad daylight. Anybody could have walked by, anybody could have seen it.
Thing real quick.
Yeah.
The Corey Haim stuff, it's in part 2.
Right, yeah.
What can you tell us about that? Because now people are trying to back it up to when you guys were younger.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's a complete work of fiction and a vile work of fiction. And forget me, it's a hideous insult to the memory of him. Mm-hmm. And shame on Feldman. Shame on him.
Instead of Lucas, he told me that, you know, it was his co-star. And he told me that it was Charlie Sheen that did it.
The movie he worked on. And then I said, well, who is it? And then he says, Charlie. Charlie, what is it? Charlie Sheen. I heard that Charlie Sheen had said to him, this is what they do.
I heard the story about Charlie and Corey Haim, probably at least a dozen people probably in my dinner circle knew for sure. It was pretty much common knowledge. I mean, Charlie Sheen was diddling him on the set of Lucas.
It's just alarming to me that multiple people are backing up the source or backing up the story, I should say, and the source is not on this planet anymore, so we can't get their side of the story, right? So yeah, I don't blame him for not making this a part of his story. You get what I mean by putting it in the book? But it would have been nice to acknowledge because this is one of those rumors murmuring around. So you have confirmed the bi rumor, right? This is another one of those things that has been following him for some time. And I feel like he realized that after the fact and was like, okay, let me talk about this in the documentary. And Charlie actually won this lawsuit. He sued some of the tabloids that were releasing this story and that interviewed those people that I just played. And they actually settled. He did not sue Corey Feldman individually or like anybody individually, but the tabloid as a whole for not really doing their due diligence and kind of capitalizing off of the other Corey's death at the time, right? So yeah, these are some pretty crazy accusations. Like I definitely would have tried to clear my name on this one. I don't know. Yeah, he had tons of little scandals he just did not mention in the book, but I get it if like these scandals were front page news at one certain point. I could see how you'd be like, right, if you want to know, you could just open, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go and look at those articles. But another thing that he did not mention in the book, and I know it's most likely just out of respect for the mother of his children, he just, you know, maybe he didn't want to get too real, just maybe respect for his children in general, but this did play out publicly, so I was kind of expecting it to be in the book. Brooke, who he has the twin boys with, they had a lot more in common than he and Denise and like, remember what I told you earlier? So Brooke, unfortunately, also has a problem with substances.
Brooke is actually in rehab. We know she went for treatment soon after Charlie's arrest for allegedly attacking her. Yale, first question. Given these wild reports today, can you set the record straight for us? Why is Brooke Muller in rehab?
Brooke is in rehab because she wants to be the best mother she could be. And she obviously has a history of abuse with alcohol. She's over that. She's on the road to recovery. She's been on the road to recovery. But this girl has been through such trauma since December 25th. She's got the December 25th incident. Then she almost lost her life because of a tooth infection. She has to deal with all these various media reports. And she wanted to go in and get her health in order and make sure that she could be absolutely the best person she could be and be the best mother that she could be.
It's your last day of rehab, so how are you doing since then? Great. I'm sober, I'm healthy, I'm happy, exercising a lot.
No, but I don't like drink. What do we have here? So, honey, can you just pour a drink? Thank you. You're welcome. Does this bother you that we're drinking?
Oh, no. It makes me feel more uncomfortable if you don't.
You told me that you don't like drinking.
I don't.
Yeah.
Brooke says it doesn't bother her when people drink, but deep down I think it must really be hard for her. We go to clubs and parties all the time, and I know it can't be easy for someone who's trying to stay sober.
We gotta get you going on some dates and get you some new ass. Not some ass that locks hookers up in closets. Woo!
Hey, Brooke, have you heard that Cat Williams just came out of retirement? Can you pose real quick? Sure. Right here, look this way, Brooke, right straight ahead.
The ex-wife of Charlie Sheen has been arrested for possession of 4 grams of cocaine with intent to distribute. Back in 2008, Sheen was arrested in the Colorado resort town for allegedly beating Mueller on Christmas morning. This time around, Mueller was busted after a woman at a local bar known as the Belly Up told police that Mueller assaulted her. Police later tracked Mueller down at another bar where they say they discovered the cocaine in her possession. The 34-year-old Mueller, who has gone through rehab for cocaine use in the past, has 2 sons with Sheen, whose struggles with drugs have been more than amply documented.
It's another rich celebrity getting another tiny slap on the wrist. Despite Brooke Mueller's history of drug and DUI arrests, new reports claim she is going to be spared jail again.
That's awesome.
I feel like I'm gonna fall just because my heels are too high.
She is clean today, but you know, if you're an addict, you're always an addict. Like, you have to be careful.
She will likely relapse again, calling herself a, quote, stage 4 addict. Brooke tells People magazine in an interview published March 25th, when we're at stage 4, it typically means that cycle where you just have these relapses. No matter how well you get and no matter how many years, it's just a matter of time. I want to be honest about it because if I tried to sugarcoat it, I'd be lying to myself. And no matter how much time passes, the 47-year-old, who shares 16-year-old twins Bob and Max with Sheen, says that the road to recovery doesn't get any easier. She tells the outlet, the darkness and the shame as we get older, that sticks with us even more because we have more evidence of pain that we've caused others and ourselves. It's sad for us because we don't want this. Nobody would want this. And so there's got to be a mental health component to it, where our suffering sometimes gets so strong, our brain tricks us and rationalizes why this time it's okay. As for her relationship with her kids amid her struggles, Brooke gets very candid, telling magazine, the sad reality is they get used to it. Mommy is going to relapse again one day.
She even said out of her own mouth, it's just, you never know. Tomorrow you might mess up, you know? And Brooke has messed up bad. She messed up so bad that she lost custody of the twins. And the twins had to go stay with Denise, the first wife, in her custody.
His twin boys Bob and Max have reportedly been removed from the custody of their mother, Brooke Mueller. According to TMZ, Brooke is believed to be using drugs again and posing a danger to her kids. Denise Richards has apparently stepped in as a caregiver to the 4-year-olds after the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services showed up with a warrant to remove the kids. Denise shares 2 daughters with her ex, Charlie, so while the boys can be with their big half-sisters, why can't Dad just take them? Although Charlie seems to be a lot more put together and less of a tiger-blooded warlock, images of machete wielding off balconies and ripping his shirt off in front of ravenous crowds are probably still burned into the court's mind.
So now I don't know if y'all remember, but the twins and Denise's youngest daughter are pretty much in the same age range. Like, Charlie did not waste no time. Denise is pretty much taking care of all the babies. Denise seems like such a sweetheart from like what I'm seeing on the outside just from looking up Charlie. She seems very compassionate, family oriented, all about her daughters. She's in a new relationship. She's doing great. But yeah, there was a time period where Brooke was spiraling. There was even a time where Charlie got custody, then he lost custody, and then it went on Denise. Denise had custody. Poor Cassandra was seeing all of this too, was like trying to find her space in this, as well as Martin Sheen, seeing him with a few clips with the strollers. Like, Brooke was wilding. There were videos of her hitting the Frank Ocean crack rock pipe, girl. Like, she was having a full-blown Paris Hilton, Miley Cyrus moment. Like, her and Charlie were pretty much this one and the same. And that's why I said earlier, I feel like Brooke wanted to be a mom because that is something she thought was just on the checklist of life for a woman. Today, I know she's very thankful. She seems like a really good mom. Like, her kids seem happy. However, I know those boys definitely remember or may have some trauma because out of all of the kids, I feel like they might have had it the roughest. Both of their parents are spiraling and they have to depend on all these outside sources. Like, when I tell you that is some Maury stuff, I did not know that it got that real at one point where Denise is taking care. I wouldn't call Brooke the other woman, but it's like you taking care of the other baby mama's kids. Like, let me know in the comments, how would you guys feel about that? If I was rich like her, I would do it. I would do it because it's like, I'm not about to have these babies out here looking crazy just because their parents looking crazy. Those are her kids' siblings, you know, and it does seem like the kids are pretty close because of that. From the outside looking in. Bird on the Curb is one of his kids started a OnlyFans. Like, they have a OnlyFans account, and he at first was like not cool with it, but now he is.
Sammy started an OnlyFans account at just 18.
I'm honestly just figuring it out as I go. I'm so young, and I feel like people always ask like what I want to do, and like I feel like I have a good sense of what I want to do, but for now I'm just going with the flow, and I'm still doing OnlyFans. It's going really well, but I really hope to eventually transition out of that into modeling. And yeah, I'm just having fun, doing my own thing, nothing crazy.
She's already reportedly earned a cool $3 million. So Denise supported Sammy by starting her own account.
Someone wants to see my boobies. I'm like, thank you.
I wish she waited a little bit, because she started it pretty soon after I did, but I'm always supportive of her work, and I think it's really nice that we're in this together and we can relate on a few things, and I think it's really funny, and I don't have an issue with it at all.
You know, I've never been on her page.
We don't know what each other posts. We just like can like.
You know, and I was really upset when she got a lot of negative backlash, and I just felt it was unfair. People making a judgment, not knowing her, and so, you know, I think that's why I decided, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna start a page too.
Gotta wonder though what her dad has to say about it.
I think he has no room to talk, if I'm being honest.
I didn't really ask him about.
Yeah, I just kind of did it. Did he know about when you started yours?
I'm not sure.
Sammy, considering the fact that she is a public figure, what advice do you have to her, or have you given her when it comes to navigating life in the spotlight?
No, I mean, that's at some point.
Do you think?
At some point, your kids, they're gonna, yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, no, I wish her success in all of her endeavors, and you know, love and adore her.
I think somebody needed to give him a reality check. Like, bro, this is your daughter. Like, you're the one who is upset. I just feel like it's like karma low-key too. Like, it's kind of forcing you to see all those women that you were buying their time with as somebody's daughter, like, because the way the cookie crumbled, right? But yeah, those are a few of the things that were not mentioned in the book. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for the long-awaited review. I hope you guys learned something new that you did not see on the Netflix series and stuff, because that was my whole intent with this video, to like give you guys some new information that they didn't put on there. Let me know what your favorite parts of this video is, or something like crazy that you did not know. Please give this video a thumbs up before you leave, and leave a comment in the comments below if you are from the winning generation like me, or if you don't even know who the hell this man is. Like, let me know. And I will see you guys in the next video.
Now he's thinking about me every night. Oh, is it that sweet? I guess so. Say you can't sleep, baby, I know. This to me espresso. Move it up, down, if I